Fair use copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, education and research. Fair use is not an infringement of copyright. All my content is found on the public domain. I follow the fair use dealings and fair use guidelines with my opinions and news that I report to my subscribers about the topic of Apostle David E. Taylor and the JMMI cult.
President Trump must listen to me. The president must hear the words of Jesus and God through me. I'm in love with Jesus and I want to please him, and I don't care if I offend people for my boldness. I walk in authority. I exude authority. I exude dominion. And that's the problem with the church today. That's why they can't take down these demonic powers and principalities, because they don't walk in authority behind their pulpits. How you going to take them out in the world? You can't take out a principality in the world that's rooting a whole nation, and you a sissy behind the pulpit, or you a punk, or you a coward. Most of the pastors today are cowards and punks to any kind of attack that happens. Like, a lot of them know the attacks I go through. They back away from my ministry. You want to know why? They back away from me because they scared. A bunch of pastors are punks. They are so delicate. And that's what Jesus is displeased with. He is angry with the 21st century church and the kind of leadership here today. Everything is delicate. They are always trying to protect their name instead of making themselves of no reputation. They want to protect their reputation instead of being like Jesus, having none. You know what I'm talking about? I have had a reputation in the world, but I don't care about it. I make myself of no reputation. Although God gives us the covenant of Abraham to make our name great, you cannot exalt your name and reputation over walking in love and over connecting with people and over helping people who go through persecution. You know, one of the bad things about in the church today with the leaders, if they see any persecution, they all run like roaches. That's how weak they are. And if you're like that, something wrong with you too. You're not a warrior, you're a punk. That's what you are. And so, yeah, I said that. And this is why people can't take me. They're just shocked at how blatant I am. And I'm going to be more blatant. It's not going to stop. The reason why I'm like this is because I had a visitation from Jesus when I was 18 years old. And I realized that there was that passive thing in me. Although I had boldness, there was still that reserved thing where I wouldn't really just come out and be as bold as Christ would be. You know, when Jesus was on the earth, he was very bold. He went in the temple and turned over tables. He planted a cord in front of everybody and whipped them out. What do you call that? You think that's a freaking coward? Christ was no coward and he was no punk. As a matter of fact, he brought order to his father's house when they were selling doves and things. I'm telling you, you don't know the Jesus I know. You only know one side of him. He has so many angles. He is not a pussycat, he's a lion. And so I was so hurt when I saw that expression on Jesus' face. He went forward. That's how you know you're not a pussy, because when you know something is coming, you go forward, not backwards. You don't see me back down, you don't see me back up, I go forward. I'm so sick of these cowards in the church, and Christ is displeased with them, and that's why they can't lead the latter rain movement. But they have the nerve to be jealous of me. They have the nerve to attack me. They have the nerve to sit on me and act like I'm being arrogant. I'm not being arrogant. I know the authority that's been given to me. Like Gabriel, when he came to Zacchaeus at the altar, he says, I am Gabriel. He didn't tell him who God was. He told him who he was. He put his own rank on him as an angel. He says, I am Gabriel, and I stand in the face of Jesus, or I stand in the presence of God day and night, and you shall be dumb for not believing my words that shall be fulfilled in their season. He didn't say for believing God's words. He says, my words. Elijah said, at my word, there will be no rain. It's like these guys, they don't understand that God has authority and power, but he also shares it with us. You got to know how to walk in that dimension he gives you and not be ashamed to say, this is who I am. This is the dominion God has given me. And if you don't do this, these are the results. Like Gabriel told Zachariah, one of the priests, John's father. He says, you will be dumb for not believing my words. That's authority. That's rank. And a lot of these pastors, they're afraid to talk like that. They think, oh, you speak in curses and stuff. No, there are consequences when you mishandle somebody who walked and been sent directly from God. Gabriel said, I stand in the presence of God day and night. Well, how much more about a face-to-face person who's in the face of God? That's rank. Gabriel did not tell him that he had power and authority because he had a throne. He said, my authority derives because I stand close to God in his presence day and night right next to him. And because I'm that close, this is the rank. I don't know how to be like some of these chumps out here. I'm serious. I'll never be, because God didn't raise me like that. When I was 18, he started early with me. Christ was in a white robe and he showed me. He didn't say, I want you to do it. He says, I need a man. It's like it was up for grabs. I was like, because you died on the cross for my sins, I'll do anything to please you. And if that means being looked at stupid because I'm walking in authority, then I'll do it. If you want to know the real truth and the whole story behind why I walk with this kind of power and authority, the way I talk, my speech, the way I speak to leaders, the way I speak to the body and to nations, I'm not being rude. I'm walking in authority because, listen, if they were more acceptable or accepting, I could come nice, but they don't let me be nice. It's like John the Baptist, when they came out to him, he didn't even say, well, let me go out to eat with the Pharisees in the church first to see, can I build a relationship? That's how all the leaders think. Let's build a relationship. But they know these guys are wicked. They ain't trying to build no relationship with you. They either just trying to get in your ministry to find out what you're doing so they can take some ideas and go do their own thing. It's all selfish. They say it's relationship, but it's not. It's a bunch of pride and all of that. And John saw through them. He says, who have warned you? It's not, John didn't play games. He says, who has warned you, you generation of vipers, to flee from the wrath to come? Why are you out here at my ministry? He rebuked them openly. He wasn't playing games, and I don't play it either. I know there are pastors and leaders who are part of this new move. They have the right heart. But I'm telling you, the majority, God is done with the 21st century church system. You need to get out of it. If you're in the church system, I don't care what it is, Baptist denomination, I don't care what it is, Methodist, wherever you are, those whole denominational systems, God has rejected them. And he has told me why. Because they've all stopped bearing the fruit of his kingdom. And so this is what happened to me. This is what took place with me when I was just a little boy or a young man, 18 years old. And so I started learning that authority, learning how to walk in this authority. That was in 1992. Then 3 years later, he sends the angel Gabriel to me in a dream. And how many know angels can appear in dreams or the physical realm? It's in the Bible. It says Joseph, the Lord appeared to Joseph sent an angel to appear to Joseph in a dream to tell him, fear not to take Mary to be your wife. Angels not only appear in the physical realm, they still appear in dreams too. You're gonna have to just be mad. And I've learned that if people can't accept who you are and who God made you to be, then you let them deal with that. I've had people ask me, why are some of the biggest leaders well known? Why are they not having you on their platform? Look at how God is using you. It's because they got a problem. That's why. Because if they were really connected to God the way they say they are, they would acknowledge the ministry I have, and they would acknowledge the glory that is taking place here. That is the biggest thing on the planet right now. I don't know any other pastor or leader or fivefold ministry officer or apostle who has God coming down on earth in the cloud with them like Moses. I'm showing you notable stuff, or that their rank is showing proof that they're turning waterways into blood from their relationship with God, like Moses did. And locusts and plagues are hitting our enemies. this nation's enemies as a result of my Mosaic connection with God. Biblical stuff, ancient stuff. They can't tell you that. They don't have no proof. When has water ever turned to blood in two of our top nations, or sovereign nations, which are our enemies, Russia and China? Why would they waterways turn to blood at the same time, around the same seasons? Come on now. After the Lord God appears and give me a message about him going to take care of our enemies and postponing the war that's coming against America. They cannot, you know what? They can't talk like this because they don't have no proof. I have proof. I have proof that the Mosaic staff of power that's in my hand released the judgment of God on Russia and China with the blood, their waterways turning to blood, and with the locusts, or not it turning to blood, but turning red. Same kind of act of Moses. It may not turn to blood, but it turned red through cruel oil. God can do it any way he want to do it. Jesus turned water into wine. It turned red. We just know it turned red. It don't always have to turn into blood. It can turn into wine. It can turn into cruel oil that's red. It don't matter. The fact is the Mosaic power is being demonstrated. And then back to back locusts, and then hell, all of the Mosaic judgments. And they're against the countries that's trying to start World War III and attack America and nuke America and also nuke other nations. Jesus walked through the wall and said, it's about to happen now, and it starts. Actually within weeks. And ever since then, he's been showing up with me everywhere I go. And this is just the beginning, but it's going to get so great where he's going to come down in life-size form in front of ABC, NBC, CBN, NBC, CNN. It don't matter what TV station it is. They will bring their trucks to see his glory. And all the nations of the world, even the sinners, will be intrigued, and they will come and bow before him and see his glory and receive his son. Even God began to bless me because of my faithfulness. I mean, people just started to give me wealth, give me a skyscraper, gave me 2 jets, gave me money for limousine, God gave me a house on the lake. My whole life began to be blessed because I gave up my career to do this, and I wasn't in this for money. So when you look online and you see all that stuff that I'm a preacher for money, they put that deposition out. It's a bunch of lies, and I don't have to try to justify nothing. They're a bunch of idiots because I know who I serve, and God has my record. Because I know a bunch of these leaders who are judging me from that junk and don't know the truth. They wouldn't dare give up what I've given up. This is what happened. And I think I was about to be 30 years old, or I was 32 or 31 at that time when God blessed me with all this great wealth. Nobody knows what this ministry has cost me. Nobody understands what I've given up and sacrificed. And I'm not just talking about material things. The angel asked me in a dream, are you willing to give up both of the jets, the skyscraper that God gave you, everything in ministry that it takes you at least 20 years to get? Normally, that's if you got favor. And to give this away would mean I wouldn't get it for another 20 years. But God can do something greater than that. But I was like, God, when God sent that angel to me, and I don't know his name, but all I know is God told him to ask me, am I willing to pay the price for the next dimension? And that's what God will do. In every dimension, he will test you to see, are you willing to pay the price? Are you willing to make the sacrifice? Are you willing to give it up? So when you talk about giving $1 million to the ministry, I've given millions in assets. I've given up so much. And I don't even think about it. And the Lord came to me in a dream and rebuked me and said, your vision is too small. He says, what I want you to build here in St. Louis for your headquarters for the latter rain, so the whole world can come here, see the history and the heritage of Christianity. He says, I want you because you have obeyed me. He says, first of all, he says, you've obeyed me and you've given up everything. He sent a messenger to me because you've done that. He says, the vision is not 70 million, it's 400 million, and I'm going to give it all to you. And then he says, I'm going to give you your 2 jets back, but they will be bigger. You see, all these people persecuting me over the stuff they think I have. Oh, they have no idea what God is about to give me. And I don't apologize for it, because a lot of those chumps wouldn't give up nothing.
I said, well, my God, how many Versaces do he need?
I've had leaders say, you shouldn't talk like that on TV. The majority of people won't listen to you. I don't give a freak. How about that? Because see, I'm not one of those people who like to exaggerate and just lie.
Christ whooped me. He put me over his lap and spanked me. And that's what made me who I am today.
And you got to read my book to get the rest of that.